Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? This is your boy HA with Experience Counts, and I wanted to start a new series while I'm out here on my walk and take y'all with me. It's called Things That Every Man Should Know. In my 60 years now, well, almost 60 years, at the end of this month, I'll be 60. So I just figured, I can pass on some experience and it was at a request from one of my subscribers. I'm sorry, brother, I don't have your name handy, but I'll shout you out in another video in this series. But you put it on my mind, things that every man should know. So this is going to be a 3, maybe 4-part series. I started off thinking maybe the top 5 things every man should know. But then I realized that my top 5 is not everybody's top 5. So these are in no particular order except for the very first one. So number 1 in this video series of what every man should know is having a love for God and just knowing God. Me, myself, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he was born, he was crucified, died and was buried, and was raised again on the 3rd day. That's my belief. Some of you out there may believe in Allah. Some of you out there have other beliefs or no belief at all. And if you don't have any belief at all, I would strongly suggest that you look into Jesus Christ. He's been really good to me and my family. So, in having a love for God and knowing God, me, myself, I was baptized early at the age of about 10 or something, a little bit older, maybe 11, I don't know. But I do remember after I was baptized that I came up out of the water and I looked back at the water and I imagined that it was just so dingy and dirty with all of my mess as a kid and all of the mess that I would go through as an adult. Now, I want to tell you, I haven't been the perfect Christian all my life. Yeah, I was baptized, but like I say, I was only 10 or 11, so I had my early adulthood life to go through. And y'all, just like a lot of y'all, I did it all. I participated in the sale of street pharmaceuticals for a little bit. Nothing serious, just something to make a little extra money on the side. I wasn't the resident drug dealer or anything like that. It was just a little bag of this or bag of that here and there. And this was way back in the 80s. I mean, it's no big deal. Didn't really make a lot of money, none like that, just enough to keep a little bit of change in my pocket, that's all. Far as partying, hanging out, females, all of that, yeah, I've done all of that. Been in places that I shouldn't have been. There are times God saved my life. I'll share with you one time I was coming home from my girl's house. Well, I'm a veteran, so I was in the Army at the time. I was coming back from my girl's house, going back to post at Fort Hood, and it was about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I fell asleep at the wheel. I was woken up by the weeds on the side of the highway as I was all the way off the highway over in the ravine of the highway, driving across it. Had there been an overpass there or something solid, my story would have ended way back in, I don't know, 84, 85, whenever that was. But God woke me up and I steered back on the highway as if nothing ever happened. So it's just things like that. I've been in other situations where I may have been at the club this night and the next night the club got shot up. I wasn't there. So, it's just little things like that that I love God for. I appreciate God for saving my life and for keeping me around so long. And that's one of the reasons for starting this YouTube channel, to just document my experience and pass it on to those my age, and especially the young brothers and sisters out there. You don't have to go through the things that I've been through. I've been a month where my electric was turned off. I was living down here in Dallas by myself. And I wasn't going to ask anybody for any money. So for a month, I lived with no electricity in my apartment. I hung out with my friends, still did everything. I don't even think they knew. I would come home, order a pizza, and that would be my dinner for a couple of nights. So, you just go through things, and those are just small things. I've been through some much bigger things in my life, but the whole time I know that God protected me. God was looking out for me. Even when I lost my mom 30 years ago in 1994, and I was 29 years old, just getting to the point where I understood what my mom was going through as a single woman, and a young woman at that. When she passed, she was only 48 years old. But I was getting to the point where I understood sorry-ass boyfriends, periods in women, stress of raising 3 kids, and sometimes we ate. One of my favorite meals was a syrup sandwich, Alaga syrup. Maybe I'm showing my age by saying that, but I thought it was delicious. Jiffy cornbread is still a favorite of mine. I would make me a skillet of Jiffy cornbread and make me a gallon of Kool-Aid and call it a night. But I thought that was good. I was good. I didn't know that we were poor, and poor is a state of mind. I really hate using that word because I don't think I was ever poor, even though I did at times eat things that wasn't all that great in hindsight. They were delicious in the moment. And I learned the power of prayer. I remember, I guess we didn't have anything. I didn't know. But I remember my mother gathering me and my 2 sisters together. I'm the oldest, so I was about 10 at this time. And we prayed for food. Like I say, I guess we didn't have anything. To me, we always had something. My grandmother lived around the corner. If nothing else, we could always go around there and get a great plate to eat, So I never knew that we were without a lot of times. Excuse that truck, y'all. But anyway, she gathered us together and we prayed. And y'all, I tell you, it was within the next day or two that her old boss, Mr. Abrams, I still remember his name, he gave us one of those chest freezers like you get from the steak companies now, and it was full of meat. And I stood back and I was like, wow, just wow. That was amazing to me. God answers prayers. In that moment, I can tell you, I know that God answered our prayers. Y'all see, I'm under this pergola now. But that was one instance. Another instance, when I was in basic training, left home 10 days after I turned 18. And those first 2 or 3 days in basic training, y'all, I thought I was gonna crack. I was crying every night and wondering what I had did, what had I gotten myself into. And my drill sergeants had no mercy. My drill sergeants were Vietnam veterans. So they didn't have any mercy on us. Their job was to make us crack. I hear now in the military, the soldiers get stress breaks. I cannot comprehend that, y'all. Their job was to stress us out as much as they could. Hey, I almost tripped and fell. Live YouTube. But yeah, their job was to stress us out and break us. And if not, turn us into soldiers. So I don't know what they do today. But anyway, that second night, man, I was crying my eyes out. Even my squad leader came to me and said, man, is it anything that we can do to help you out? And I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it right now, you know. But I remembered my grandmother, bless her heart. She, the last thing she said to me was, talk to Jesus and everything will be okay. And that night, me and Jesus had a talk. I prayed, and I tell you, I was Superman in basic training after that. Nothing fazed me. Drill sergeant get in my face, cussing me out, because they could do that back then. Nothing. Gas chamber, nothing. 20-mile road marches with a 50-pound pack on my back, bring it on. Nothing fazed me. Cold showers, nothing. Running 100 miles every day. Again, the drill sergeants trying their best to intimidate us and break us, nothing. I was good the whole time, and it just made me a stronger man, stronger young man, stronger soldier, because I felt like I could endure anything after that. And it had its desired military effect, which was to turn me into a soldier. And that's what it was. I'm not a combat veteran, but I was ready to go. Had the call came. And I just feel like I would have survived. Nothing would have fazed me. Now, whether that's true or not, that's a whole different thing. But because we all feel like that, and as we know, we lose people in combat. Bless those brothers and sisters. But as for me, at that time, man, prayer changed my life, and it changed the direction of my life, I think, because again, I'm from metropolitan Detroit area, Pontiac, shout out. And I was in basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Had never been over there. It was in December. We had what they call bivouac back then, where you spend a week outside, no inside, everything outside. Our first night of bivouac, it was 10 degrees below zero. and it never really warmed up the whole week. And they woke us up with CS canisters, which is basically smoke bombs, at 4 in the morning. You would just hear boom, and we would have to get dressed with our gas masks on. The first night they did that, they told us, okay, the best way to stay warm in this weather is take off all your clothes and get in your sleeping bag, which it was. It was great because you don't sweat, and you stay warm. Well, after they woke us up with those CS canisters, I slept in my uniform every night because my hands was shaking so bad, shivering, trying to lace up my boots and put them on and then get dressed and all of that. No, I got to sleep in my uniform now because y'all playing games, So it was a learning experience big time. But I look back on my life, man, it was fun. It was fun. That period of my life was fun. I didn't like the authority of the military. I never grew to like authority in my life. I still don't, which is why I'm glad I'm pretty much retired now, because it's just stuff I can't put up with. I don't have the personality for it. But the military, it did change my life, though. I got a chance to go places and do things where had I copped out and quit and had them kick me out some kind of way, because back then it wasn't easy to get kicked out like it is now. You can almost ask to get out now and they'll let you go. But back then it wasn't. You had to, I don't know what it took for them to kick you out. They took pleasure in trying to break us, like I say. So they weren't letting you go easy. So I endured by the grace of God, and I made it. So what I'm saying is, form a relationship with God. Pray. And prayer doesn't have to be all, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob type of prayer that you may have heard in church. God is a personal God. You can talk to God just like I'm talking to y'all. Hey, God, Jesus, how you doing today? I hope all is good. Hey, I have a couple of requests, if you don't mind. If that's your prayer, God hears it. God hears all of our prayers, no matter how we frame it. There is no set formal way to pray. So don't be intimidated if you go to church and you hear the pastor get up and they speak so eloquently and so convincing, and every word seems to be perfect. Y'all excuse that they're doing some road work back there. But don't be intimidated by the way someone else pray. If you were to talk to your best friend, you just talk how you talk. And God is your best friend. So just talk how you talk. There's no set way, no protocol, no nothing. And as you grow in your faith, you'll develop, a way that you talk to God that's comfortable for you. It may become more eloquent, or maybe it stays street. It doesn't matter to God. God is a big boy or girl, however you look at God. God can handle all of our stuff. Our language, when we pray, that's nothing to God. That is nothing. Really, God hears and understands what you're saying. Oh man, stepped off a step that I didn't see. But God knows your heart. And if you come to God with a clean heart and a sincere heart when you pray, then that's all. That's the only requirement. That's the only requirement. So don't be intimidated. So I don't want this video to be I didn't mean for it to be 20 minutes long, but this was the most important thing in the first episode in the series of things every man should know. I got 9 more. I'm gonna try and break them up into 3 each, so it'll be a total of 4 episodes, but I wanted this one, a relationship with God, to be the very first one, and I don't mind it being the longest one of the series. And I hope you guys enjoyed the series, enjoyed this first video. Don't forget to give me a like and hit the subscribe button. Right now, I'm a small YouTube channel, but we're going for bigger and better things because I know God is going to bless my channel. And I'm here to do whatever it takes and talk about whatever God asked me to talk about. So with that, this is your boy HA, and in another video, I'll tell you why I call myself HA and not my real name. I don't mind how y'all address me, but I'll tell you in another video. All right, y'all, until the next video, peace. Remember, our experience counts.